Hello, everybody, and welcome
Hello.
to another episode of Footy Abroad. Four of the finest on display tonight. Lads, good evening. How are we?
Good. It's already been a big week and it's only Tuesday, so it's going to be a long bloody week. Can already feel it.
It's a short week. Lots to get through. Maybe we should bring in our special guest first and let him say good day. Pommy, welcome back, mate. By popular demand, must say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know if I believe that. You've had some esteemed guests, but no, it's great to be back. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to join you three gentlemen and chat. I'm looking forward to this. I don't know if it's been a swoop up because Carlton lost and he just wanted two Carlton fans, but I'm ready. I'm
orchestrated it all on purpose. It's all my fault.
Yeah, planned it perfectly.
Down in the dumps. Guys, I fixed my light. How good.
Oh, Jesus, that was quick. Well done.
Yeah. Thanks.
He's smart. He's happy now.
Had a meltdown. Pommy, we'll go around to the other boys, but from your point of view, what happened to your club over the weekend? Mine didn't play. I don't watch this sport anymore. So
yeah, we lost this morning 4-0 at Palace. I mean, that's probably the end of Eric Ten Hag.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. That was nuts.
To try hopelessly to deflect. Carlton. Well, I mean, I'd imagine half of chat, because some of you will be on Swoop's channel, will know. Yeah, the Blues didn't win. I'm trying to tell myself it's only a game. Doesn't mean anything. It's just 18 versus 18 at the same time in pajamas, kicking an egg-shaped ball through two sets of posts. It's not a real sport. All in all, yeah, I'm a little bit gutted, I'll be honest, but it's okay. It's Tuesday. It's a new week, and I'm fine. I'm dealing with it well.
You look, yeah.
You know things are not
I'm
good
convinced.
when you're telling people things are okay.
Yeah. I'm okay,
First
right,
time.
guys? I'm
First
okay.
Yeah, this is my first breakup. I'm fine. I'm fine. She meant nothing to me. It's okay.
Yeah. Jake, firstly,
Yeah,
welcome. Secondly, mate, what's this about? I didn't get into
mate, I don't know.
I didn't do that last week. I didn't.
Hey, we talk about drama. It's entertainment. We're just amping up the vibes a little bit, okay?
He wins a game, he becomes an asshole. This is just. I didn't rub it in last week. I just got behind the Saints, you know.
No, look. I'm only mainly upset because I bloody tipped your mob. I tipped your mob by 4-5. I saw you the day of, remember? I saw you at Rustica. You came out. He's got his jacket on. He's looking all happy. He's got the smile out and about. He's got the perfect skin going on, which is not touched up at all, by the way, everyone watching at home. And then you guys threw it out the window and cost me a tip. So I'm very upset. Very upset.
All right, mate. I'll remember that. That's okay.
I backed your mob, mate. Yes.
How did your Saints go? What was the story of St Kilda?
Story of St Kilda was you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. With North Melbourne, you smash them. It's just North. You lose to them, you're shit. We were in between, so we're neither here nor there. But we have 4 points and we get players back. And we've got Hawthorn now and then Fremantle. So two surprisingly difficult games. The way Hawthorn played against the Doggies and then Freo were flying. So if we can get through those two and go 5-5, I'll be very happy, and then we might be building some momentum at the right time. Fingers crossed.
Amazing. Luke, the Mighty Pies, mate.
Fuck, I said it was going to be a good close game, and that's exactly what we got. It was insane. It was obviously amazing that we won to beat your arch rivals, but I think the game, even as a neutral, if you were watching that, it was like literally like down to the wire. That's all it was for a neutral. It was but as a Pie supporter, yeah, it's always good beating the arch rivals. And to do it like that, Nick Dacos goal. We were up and about after the game. Yeah, it's a good feeling, but kind of like, you know, with a loss now, we had the weekend to sort of celebrate it, and now we're into hoping not to get smashed by West Coast. So, because that's just typical Collingwood. I was talking to people after the game. I'm like, yeah, it'll be typical to beat Carlton how we did, and then go down by 18 points to West Coast next week at Marvel. So that's a danger game for us.
Mate,
Really?
with a fly whopper,
Yep.
you'll be fine.
Yep, 100%.
I will
in
be
20
ropeable if you
Oh, it was
lose.
because
to
it
West
happened
Coast.
a few years ago. It happened a few years ago, didn't it?
2022. They hadn't won a game yet. We were the first game that they won.
Yeah.
It might have been round 8 or something at Marvel.
Yeah.
We were just really inaccurate, and they beat us. And I shouldn't say this, but going into that game, I had a really bad feeling, and I think they were West Coast were like $6 to win, and I chucked a pineapple on them. We lost, but I won money, so so I was 50-50. That's how much West Coast can mess us up. So yeah, be interesting to see that game.
Okay, I want to ask you something from the Collingwood perspective. So it wasn't until I watched the replay that I felt like it was actually a pretty good game of footy. And you know, sometimes you can be hard on your own team, and how come we didn't bring the effort to the Collingwood rivalry game? I feel like the Carlton fans are more invested in the game than the Carlton players, and the Collingwood players are more invested in the rivalry than the Collingwood fans until after the siren. Do you feel that? Because I feel like your boys just find a way to, like, it means something to them when they play us.
Yeah. I think the boys do know how to get up for, especially for this game. And they did it a couple of times. But you obviously got the wood on us last season, late in the last season. But yeah, it's funny because Collingwood fans, especially this week on socials, because I see it, we really did sort of bite our tongue because we weren't sort of like, even in my preview, I said we would win by a point. So I wasn't confident that it was going to be a huge smacking. And then you win, then you release that gas valve. You're like, okay, cool. Now we can be up and about. Whereas the Carlton fans that I sort of saw, and I wasn't trying to consume a lot of Carlton sort of media or anything like that, but they were very confident going in. Like from what I saw, it was very much like, okay, we're going to win anyway. They're going to be 3-1-4, and then we'll take this to September. But yeah, so it was the opposite. So gas valve came out and lid came back on.
Can you just explain to the chat, if they haven't seen it, probably the best bit of YouTube content I've ever seen, what a McRae Whopper is? What a fly.
So I've actually got my notes here that I took for it. So the McRae Whopper was clearances inside 50s, tackles, and then tackles inside 50. And those were just like the 4 pillars of our game against the Blues. We were plus 34 for tackles, beat you at the clearance game, which you guys are known for. You're like number 1 clearance team. And it was just like a 4 pillars, beef, bun, cheese, beef patty, and then the bottom bun. And it was just like a nice Whopper to chew on.
Best bit of analysis I've ever heard.
Wow.
I was blown away.
See you in round 20, I guess.
Fuck, is that when it is? That's so far away.
Yeah, I said this in my preview as well. I find it, for whatever reason, it just gets me going, the game. Like, I want to beat Collingwood so bad, and it's to my detriment. I reviewed the game, and like during the fan cams, I was, I do my best to be okay and rational. The weekend, I didn't really get a chance to watch it properly. I did the ratings with Pommy. He had to pull me out of the hole from the rating show on Sunday night. I hadn't watched the replay yet. I kind of wish I did, because once I watched the replay, I realized it was just a quality game of football. It was an arm wrestle, and the ball bounces one way, and you play that game 10 times, maybe it bounces another way. Who knows? Yep. But at least we're now in proper blockbusters where both sides are good. Like, for a long time, Carlton have been dog shit,
Yep.
So.
And there was a time where Collingwood were like, and you guys were good. So it's nice to be sort of even pegging now. And every game between us means something now. It's not just bragging rights. It's actually like these 4 points mean something. It doesn't mean that you're going to get out of the bottom 4. You can get into the top 4 with these 4 points. So it's nice to see that the rivalry on the field, at least, is getting bigger.
Yep, no doubt. All right, let's begin. We're gonna go through a topic each. I actually haven't told you guys what mine is, but it's not like a really crazy one. It's a bit personal for each of you. I'm gonna reach into your experiences as content creators. But I think we should start with I don't know, start with Pommy. Start with the guest.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Jake.
yeah,
Jake,
okay.
put-
No, Jake, no, Mr.
put
Up
your
and
hand up.
about.
Oh, yeah.
Jake, you've
I don't
no
think I've-
going
I
up
don't-
and about.
Katniss
I don't think I've
Katniss
gone.
Everdeen volunteering.
I don't think I've gone first yet, have I?
No,
No.
mate.
Mate,
you
it
go.
would be my
Okay.
pleasure to go after you.
No, it's to be honest, I've picked topics late the last few weeks where I go on a bit of a rant. So I've kept this. I'm going to keep this one very, very simple. Okay, very,
Okay.
very simple. We all know the story. We all know the news about Sam Draper and what he said on the 200 Plus podcast. I'll just give you the quote out of context, but we'll talk through what the context was. I've got a big call about the doggies. If Bevo's still there next year, there'll be some players requesting trades. Now, first of all, out of context, that sounds like, it's a serious comment, and he's got some goss there, yeah? But he was just bullshitting in the podcast. He just wanted to say something funny, and that's Tom Morris tweeted out on the weekend and blew that out of proportion to the point now where I feel like for so long we've been wanting transparency with players. We've wanted players to be their own character. We've wanted to be themselves in interviews, on podcasts, on shows. And we wonder why they don't want to do that. We wonder why they want to delete their Instagram, why they want to get off social media. They don't want to go on any shows anymore. It's because they can't just speak their mind. And to be fair, what Sam Draper said, I actually don't have much of a problem with, because he said what we're all thinking anyway.
Yeah.
No problem at all. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the reaction, the fact that his coach didn't back him, the fact that reporters like Kane Corns and other of the like, calling him out on that, saying that it's wrong, when they happily go and talk shit about Harley Reid yesterday, about questioning whether he's fit or not. It's like, that's ridiculous. It's contradictory. And Stephen Quartermain actually came out and tweeted, and he said, and I'll just quote him, "I hope AFL players are not scared off after the Sam Draper Essendon podcast. The media has spent years battling to get sportsmen to be open, honest, and entertaining. It's deflating to see them cut down when they make an effort not to respond like a robot."
Yep.
And why would they go and do these things now? Honestly, why would they? Why would they put themselves out there only to be shot down, and then for their football club to come out and say, you know what, that's not good enough? And he's taking a 4-week sabbatical basically off that podcast based on the comment he said. And guess what? The funny thing is, he was proven right. The doggies lost to the Hall is on Bevo. He was right. And we're still saying that's not good. What are your thoughts?
Well, the whole context was, if I remember correctly, Jake, is that they were pretending to be journos, right? So he was just saying what
just
every
taking the
single
piss.
journo does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these people, like someone just said it in the chat. Michelangelo Rucci said the Pies are coming for Rory Lobb at the end of the year. So if that doesn't get proven to be true, and he's saying that, Lobb's going to Collingwood or whatever it may be, he's not going to get pulled up for it. And how many times have we seen that? Same with I can't name players off the top of my head, but it happens all the time. And these media guys don't get pulled up. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, where they don't get pulled up for the shit that they spew. Besides Media Watch, obviously, from these two guys, they pull them up. But
Yeah.
but
Mate,
besides
we don't
that,
just
like
pull them up.
you rip them apart, don't you?
I was waiting.
Teach
for
him
it.
a lesson.
But you know what I mean? Like, he's just one. It was just a joke, and two, it's probably true
just a
anyway. Let's
joke.
be honest. But
what I mean.
it's probably true. But everyone's saying it. Everyone's been saying that all year. So why is he the Is it not a martyr? Whatever it is. Why is he up there getting shot when all of these journalists are saying it anyway?
It's because it's a player, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I get that.
Is there a conflict of interest? Is that what you're saying? The fact that he's a player, he might know. I think the players that he listed were players that had been in the VFL recently. Like, he was just picking names at the drop of a hat.
I didn't realize it was a joke. I didn't realize there was more context.
See, that's what they don't
he was
report.
putting on a thing.
Yeah.
I still think it was unprofessional.
Yep.
Because when you're a player, and that information is sensitive, and it may not be true. It might be true though, and if it is, and he's revealing it in a podcast like that, like, that's unprofessional.
But isn't it? But is it? is it something he's revealing? We all know that. We all know that if
Do we,
Bevo
though?
doesn't lift the dogs, of course they're going to have players that leave. They're sick of the same voice for 7 years that's done nothing.
But for a player,
Sorry.
I was going to say for a player to be journos, that's their job.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah,
They're
100%.
speculating, the journos. For a player to talk about the way I watched the little bit, it was like he had spoken to some of the boys. He knows some of the boys, and he's basically saying, "Listen, like they're going to be out if Bevo's there." And immediately, that was totally different to Guinea last year when they were hounding him for being a little bit excited after wins. I was able to put that in two different boxes straight away. Like that was Guinea being himself, Draper also probably being himself, but you're still a listed player. You can't be talking about another coach and another player with that.
Yeah, so I'll counter that, and I'll say the reaction to what he did, is that a bit much then? So he's banned for 4 weeks from that podcast. And his coach came out and said it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, that's excessive.
And they had it last night where Joel Selwood, Trent Cotchin, and all these guys coming out and saying, what would you do in the situation? And they're basically shit-canning him. Surely that's just something where behind the scenes you contact the podcast, you say, hey, maybe delete that clip. You take him aside and go, next week just probably don't go into those sort of specifics again and don't talk about other clubs in a negative light. Why publicly have to go and slam him like that?
Well, you play silly games, you win silly prizes.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what if Max King did it? What if one of your boys did it? Would you want them talking about other clubs like that?
Honestly, I wouldn't give a shit because as long as Kingy goes out and he's not been playing well lately, obviously, he just came back from an injury again, interrupted. But if he was just going out and playing his footy, it wouldn't really bother me that much, honestly. It wouldn't bother me that much. And it's not like Draper's going to go out and be leaking stuff every week. It's just a once-off where they were having a bit of a gag and he said something. I feel like it could have been handled differently, obviously from his side, and I think the reaction could have been handled a lot better as well.
I reckon there's truth behind it, which is why there's been such a reaction.
Yeah, it's kind of like insider trading,
we
right?
all, but we could all. I would have said that. I would have said the same thing. I'm not an insider.
Yeah, but you're not a listed player.
It's common sense.
Like you are bound by confidentiality when you become a player. You are bound to that information.
But he's not leaking anything specific.
That affects the integrity of the game, betting, things like that. Like there's all sorts of information.
Betting. It wouldn't affect betting because they.
Well, if you know that Bailey Dale's going to be dropped in a game and you spread that information.
But he wasn't spreading who's being dropped. He just said if they don't continue
spreading
to play
who's not
well,
going to be there.
If they don't improve. It's different. It's
no. There wasn't a comment.
Different.
If Bevo stays, there's certain players that are leaving.
No, he didn't say
that. They'll be looking around. That they would. He would be. I've got a quote here. If Bevo's still there next year, there'll be some players requesting trades. That's all he said.
You don't think that's unprofessional?
I think it is. To be honest, I do think it's unprofessional. I think being a current player, it's probably not the right way to frame it. But I just don't like the reaction to it. I don't like that they've had to ban him for a month, that his coach has come out. I feel like just pull him aside, just handle this outside the public eye. But he's put himself out there, like he said. So,
I agree that it was a too heavy a sanction, but at the same time,
maybe my point is not so much what he said, but in other iterations down the line where players are just honest and being themselves, even if it's a bit silly, do we really have to shoot them down that quickly? Otherwise, okay, let's just be robots. Let's just get the most boring interviews.
I don't know if that applies to this because he was being unprofessional. He was being disrespectful to the dogs.
I know, but
it's not about being himself. Like I love Drapes and he's funny, and every other episode before that one, he's been Drapes and been funny and been awesome. So it's not like, he hasn't been doing the show for a while. It's just,
but it is the first time he's done
the line on this one comment, and he'll fix it and he'll get better. Like you learn in content. We've all done it.
Oh, absolutely.
But he gets held to a high standard because he's a player.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can definitely see, Terry's side as well about the overreaction was crazy, but when now that I'm sort of thinking about it after what you're saying, Terry, it is. I can see why it's super unprofessional. It was like when Heath Shaw put a bet on himself, or was it Nick Maxwell, to they were going to kick a goal because they knew they were playing in the forward line. Different, but like he told a mate that he was going to play in the forward line, and his mate put $10 on him. You know what I mean? So still different, same, but different. It'd be like if Draper said, next week they're going to chuck me. I'm going to stay full forward as a joke, and then he goes full forward, and then someone was saying how it can impact sort of betting. I know it's different. I know it's very like, if McRae leaves Collingwood, I hear he's going back to Richmond or something. Like very out of the sort of out of this world sort of saying. But yeah, I can see. But also that overreaction, it's nuts, because we need to let players be who they are. Because every I don't know about Carlton, but Collingwood players, all of it, or not all of them, a handful of them have podcasts, and they're pretty good. They do bite their tongue a lot. You can tell.
Sure.
Do any Carlton players have podcasts?
They used to. They're all delisted.
Well, when we had Jack Sinclair on a few years ago, I had to send the audio file to the media manager to listen to it in case he said anything. I'm amazed that there's nothing in place here for this one. No one heard it before it went out. No one reviewed
it. Was weeks.
No one
before.
sent. It was 3 weeks ago or something. No one sent it to Essendon, to the media manager. Surely there's someone there that has a responsibility to make sure that whatever players are saying on any form of media, it's not like this. So did someone deliberately let it through the cracks so that we get this reaction? Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me at all. But the fact that I had to send something to Sinclair, about Sinclair, to be reviewed, even Jack Higgins in the rooms last year, because he's not quite media trained, and they jokingly said, hey, well, we'd love to just have a watch to make sure Higo doesn't say anything a bit silly. They don't do that with this. That's just very surprising.
You know, I think, Jake, would you say though that you have more liberty about how it was reported? Because it was originally reported, and I agree with Terry. Yeah. How it was originally reported was as if he said it with no context. He's just come out of the blue and said, right, everyone, Bevo's in trouble. Everyone's leaving. He's lost the club. Like, that was how the media leaked it to the general person who hadn't seen the footage. It was almost like he's come out there and he's got mates there and they've told him. So everyone would assume, is that your issue? And my second issue is the issue I had with it was the quote they used from Scott. And Scott's quote I find is fascinating. And always be wary in a world where morals come with a price. Beware of false idols. And Brad Scott fits this perfectly by saying, I've spoke to him and it's damn right disrespectful. This is a man who a week ago, when the AFL announced that they were going to do an initiative for the women that have lost their lives due to domestic violence, said the best rehab facility in the world is an AFL football club. So, I mean, can you imagine having the balls on you to say that you have any pillar of respect when you say that? Like, honestly, Sam Draper, based from my evidence here of Brad Scott says he's a bad guy, totally fine. I think everyone needs to toughen up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think...
Don't do hypocrites.
No, the way it was reported is the way you expect it to be reported, right?
Yeah, in this day and age.
In this day and age, of course. If they give the full story, it's not gonna generate any sort of interest at all.
But if that's your issue, Jake, I agree. If I was a young footballer,
it's absolutely my issue. Yeah,
and I think
your
it's
issue
amazing.
Is how it was reported.
No, my issue is how it's to shut him down like that quickly. The way they reported it.
No, but I agree with Jake. You hear the stories of all the other sportsmen. You know, the cricketers, right? The cricketers, when they talk about lunch break, and they went out and got on the piss with the locals and then went out and bowled England out for 20. And you think how relaxing it must have been then to be in an era where there wasn't social media and there wasn't phones, and you could be a young 20-year-old lad with your mates. Where now, like Terry, they can't even go on a podcast and have a bit of a crack between fourth. Like, when you're at work, how many times does one of your mates fuck up and you're like, probably fired tomorrow? Definitely fired. Useless. They are real people. When you talk to footballers, they have real fears. They feel insecure. They hate their coach that night. They hate the other players. And the problem is the more you get to talk to players and people around this, it's worrying the stuff they say to you and you've got respect versus the people that might not have respect and say, oh, well, this player's just told me that this player's a tit. But these are normal conversations they have. Like Terry, you and me don't get on. I'm sure you've badmouthed me to someone, and I'm sure Jake said, "Oh, that fucking pommy cunt's in my ass again, doing my head in."
Mate,
You know what I mean?
Not a direct.
What do you mean?
Hey,
No,
listen, just wait. Listeners, that was not a direct quote. Just saying, you got a few words wrong.
But what I mean is, can you imagine being a young player and this is something that you're doing with Tom Mitchell and some of your pals, and all you want to do is not be Sam Draper, the footballer. You want to be, just for a moment, Sam Draper, the human being. And the minute you make a mistake, and let's be honest, do I think it's disrespectful? Not really, because I agree with Jake. I think everyone, unless they're Luke Beveridge's wife, thinks Luke Beveridge is getting sacked tomorrow, right? So it was a stupid comment. And the other week, they were doing impressions of journalists, doing Damien Barrett. And Damien Barrett's famous quote is, I've spoke to someone inside the club, and they tell me, so it's obvious that it wasn't fact. It was stupid shooting the shit.
Yeah,
and I think sometimes, as humans and as the media, we need to understand people joke and they don't mean what they say. And that's totally fine. That's normal. Yeah. That's healthy. Really healthy.
Agreed.
I think that nonetheless, it's still unprofessional. Draper's unprofessional with what he said. I just think he's just got to choose his words more. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Could he have said anything relating to Bevo getting the sack in different words that would be professional to you? You're saying that there's another way for him to say that. I don't think there is.
No, I don't say. I don't think there's no. I think it's a topic you don't touch. I think he's not in the place.
Just don't talk about other teams at all.
Yeah. Probably.
What if he said that? Like, even when I spoke to Josh Battle after the game on Saturday night, he said, "Oh, North have been they've been smashed recently." Some journo will take that and somehow form that and say what Battle is saying is that North is shit and that they're getting smashed
that's different.
every week.
I'll give you the right example. Braden Maynard personally said, "I love when we beat Carlton. They're in a bit of shambles at the moment."
Yeah,
it's coming from Braden Maynard. It's not coming from. It's from him. Like, he owns it. So it's a different example. I mean, that's character. That's part of the game. That's the theatre. That's him being Braden Maynard. He's being real. That's him. He's really into the Collingwood-Carlton rivalry.
What if Draper left out the fact that players might request a trade and he just said, "Oh, if Bulldogs don't improve, I'd be surprised if Bevo's there." And he just said that. And he didn't say, "and players would request a trade." Is that different then? Or is that still unprofessional and disrespectful to you?
If he said doesn't know if Bevo
he just said that,
why should he comment on Bevo? Why should he?
Well, that was part of the gag. That's part of the gag. It's not like he just said that out of thin air with no context like they've reported and how you've read it.
It's like we want standards for certain parts of the AFL industry, but not others. It's like we want standards for media journalists, but players can do what they want because they're just players and they need to have a personality. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit. It's a bit of a double standard. I think it's different.
Well, yeah, but media people, it's their job. They've studied it. Sam Draper's just behind a mic, just having a bit of fun.
He just made a mistake.
Outside of his very serious job that takes up a lot of his time and he dedicates his life to it, he takes that very serious. He's just had a bit of a gag. Yeah, it's a slip up. But I just don't like the way that everyone has slammed him for it. And that just means in future shows or in future interviews, he's not going to open up at all. And more players are going to be like that. And they're going to be robots.
I think that's an extreme. I think you're being extreme.
I think you're saying
Draper's made a mistake and he's not going to open up forever. He's just going to know when to pick his spots and what things to touch on. I think you happy with the uproar? Said things in the past where we're like, okay, I'll fix that next time.
Never, Terry. Yeah. Honestly, never.
So, I think we're dramatizing it a little bit. Like, he just had a little slip up, and he's going to be okay. And he's probably new to podcasting and creating content, and it's all going to be fine.
That's my point. Why didn't his bloody coach just say that? His coach should have just said
I agree with that. When he backed in Aaron Thomas the week before. I agree.
Back him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Cool off. We'll go to
I enjoyed that. I
enjoyed it too.
I just want players to be real. And even in the rooms, you get in there, they're completely different. I had a good 5-10 minute chat in the rooms with Jack Steele. I was editing videos in the rooms on the weekend, and he just came up to me and wanted to talk about what I'm doing and just my weekend. And you don't see that in mainstream media with these players. They're humans. They've got personalities. They've all got little jokes going on, and you don't see that anywhere. So I just want to make sure that can still be reflected in shows and in podcasts, because that's what we want to see.
Absolutely.
Good start.
Pommy?
Pommy, you're next, mate. Good luck.
Jesus, we're being very philosophical tonight. I'm joining my lovely esteemed colleague Jake in the philosophical journey.
Good.
Right, so I thought about this long and hard, and it's probably on the similar tangent, but I want to know that I've noticed this year the AFL was really focused on everything being black and white. Teams are either good or shit, and I think Jake nailed it at the start. If North win, they're shit. If Saints win, still haven't proved anything. They're still in the maybe shit category. And we've got a lot of old guys in the AFL media, haven't we? A lot of old school heads that, you know the type of people, the people that drink brown, boring beer and they still laugh at fart jokes. And I want to know, what is wrong with the media where we've got
That's
a professional environment and with young kids and teams, we've started to make the journey of learning linear. It's either you're good or you're rubbish. You've got it or you haven't. And I feel like we're starting to reward in the media vicariously through the society that there is no success is rewarded by your failures. Nowadays, it's hiding your failures. And I think that the media are putting way too much onus on results-based fact as opposed to thinking about it and thinking things take time. And not everyone gets there. And how many times, Terry, Carlton fan, 2017 Richmond, we're 2017 Richmond, 2017 Richmond did this. You always hear that. There's always, they did it in 3 years. This team must do it in 3 years. If it's not done next year, it's game over. Why does no one seem to give the benefit of the process first? Because when you watch American sports, as you'll see, Terry, everything's process. Process is the key word. It's not results based. It's process based. And that's what they focus on with their draft. Over here, it seems to be very, you've either got it or you haven't got it. And we're quick to dispel you. And before you know it, you're yesterday's news. So that's my subject. Do we not appreciate time? Are we just not, do we think it's linear? Have we forgotten it's not? It's like a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey thing.
Absolutely, people think it's linear. In the football world, 100%. Even people talking about Harley Reid already, they're comparing his stats to Nick Dacos. They're playing completely different positions, but they're saying after 6 games, Nick did this, therefore Harley should be doing this. Absolutely not. Different people, different clubs, different times, different situations, but it's not easy to report that way.
And I think it was kind of like what we talked about again a few weeks ago, and we seem to be one problem is sort of three others that we've already sort of covered, because the football world is just so intertwined. Like with this one, we're sort of wanting results straight away. Like, you know, like look at let's for example the North Melbourne project. From the outside looking in as not a North supporter, you can see what they're sort of building, and you can see that they've only won 14 games in 5 years or whatever it is. But you can see, but I assume if you talk to a Kangaroo supporter, they're like, no, we have to have a minimum of 6 wins this year. Next year we have to push for 9 next year. And I think it's because we need results right now. We need something to compare it to. Pom, you brought it up a couple of weeks ago with the draft with the kids, and what numbers they get sort of picked in. I think it was our first episode. All you got to look at is, Tom Brady, as you said, as a process, was picked at 199. He's got 8 Super Bowl rings now, or 7 Super Bowl rings now, whatever it is. So that was a 20-year process, but it was still, it was a project where if we pick someone at pick 10, you're wanting them to be good straight away. And how often does that really happen? And like Jake just said with Harley Reid, Kane Corns is saying because he cramped, he's not fit enough. Like we don't know these things. You know what I mean? Like it's the last quarter, 5 minutes in the last quarter. We don't know these things. And the more we're expecting our team to be good straight away. I've seen it with Collingwood, and you guys have seen it with all our teams. The more we're disappointed when they're not, and that's the reality of football. And it's the onus is a lot on the media as well. Like before the even season started, people are like, "Who's under fire the most? What coach is under fire?" The game hasn't even fucking started yet. Everyone's 18th. We don't know. We don't know. Oh, Bevo, if he doesn't win the first 4 games, he's gone. Like we don't know that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, the Bevo part, because the Bulldogs president came out. She came out, I think, after the loss, and she talked about how, last year we just missed out on finals. So the only way to improve is to make finals this year. So is that her, being linear? She like, if we finish 9th in percentage out of the 8 last year, therefore we need to be in the 8 next year to have improvement. Can they still improve and miss the finals? Of course they can.
Yeah.
But she's the president, and she's come out and she's set an agenda, almost something that's like, Bevo, if you don't reach that, or ex-coach, whoever it might be, any president could say, if Ross Lyon doesn't finish 5th, we'd be surprised or we'd be a bit upset. That's a hint to the membership base saying we might make change if this doesn't happen. It's like a fail-safe.
I think what got me thinking was I was watching something about Hawthorn pre the Doggies game. And it was, I can't remember the journalist, but it was the same journalist that at the start of the season akined their hard rebuild to Collingwood's, where you traded Treloar and they were saying, this is how you do rebuilds. It's been proven in the AFL. You go big, you sell high, you back your youngsters. And then the same journalist the week before was like, it's dangerous. All the other top teams, look at Richmond. They brought players in early and then they surrounded them with experience. And then they did it. And I fear if they lose the next couple, Sam Mitchell has stripped it back too much. And then they won. And I was thinking, you have changed within 6 months based on the results. That one, Collingwood, Graham Wright is the mantra, is the benchmark of rebuilds. Go hard, get it done. Then you flip-flop back and say, Richmond's was good. Took forever, but it worked. What are you going to say this week now they've beaten the Dogs? I don't think, trust me, I try and compare football teams. The truth be told, you can't, because players develop faster than others. For every Sam Walsh, you get a Cam Rayner. He takes 3 or 4 years to become a good player and then might not reach the heights. So it's so hard to just linearize everything. And I fear when we talk about examples, to lead on to Jake's point, players aren't examples the same way football teams can't be used as an example of life. They are real life. Everything develops at a different side. So some sides will hit their premiership window in 2 years. Some might take 10. But we're looking at the process. Are they doing the right thing year on year and trying to get better? And I think even as an analyst on a YouTube channel, I make that mistake sometimes. I forget there is a process, and I buy into, I want it now. Why isn't it now?
Yeah, I echo that. I mean, I can, from the Carlton perspective, if we look at external, after 3 rounds, we were looking good on scoring from turnover and, the profile of winning a premiership. But the criticism was, we've lost our midfield stoppage game. They've gone too far in the other way. And then we get that back. We lose the rebound game. We lose the score some stoppage game. And it was, they're just so reliant on their midfield. From a fan perspective, I mean, believe it or not, guys, people came on and traded Harry Mackay on Friday night.
He only kicked 4 goals? He only kicked 4 goals.
Traded Harry. Traded him. We definitely live in a volatile state.
And do you reckon it's due to wanting to be perfect and find the perfect sort of team all the time? Because Craig McRae on the weekend in his presser said, literally pretty much word for what you said, Terry. They're number 1 in this, but they're 17th in this, and they should be in the top 3. But they're 4 in this, but they're 15th. No one's always gonna be number 1. And if we start setting those high expectations, Collingwood were the best rebounding team last year. We're one of the worst now because we've changed our game plan. We're not going to be that rebounding team. We're a 4.5 high pressure team now. So they're not, the stats aren't always going to be up, and if we keep setting those high expectations, of course you're gonna fall off the edge of the stairs and be disappointed.
Yeah, and also whoever you played in the first, all three of our clubs, our first 8 games that we've played, we played 8 different teams. Maybe some of them crossed over last year. It's hard to compare. At this time last year, we had played West Coast, beat them by 100 odd.
Yeah,
It skews the argument. So I think we have an issue looking at things from a process point of view. I know I've definitely adopted it more lately than ever in my whole supporting life. I think also, mate, it was 20-something years since I'd watched final, or 10 years since I'd watched a final. It was like 25 years, 26 years since we'd won a premiership, but that continues. But our supporter base as a generation of a supporter base that had seen no finals. So we needed to see something, and the panic started creeping in, no doubt. But I do think that eased off a little bit when we started seeing them rise up, So you got to see results, but you also got to take it for the journey that it is.
Yeah, I agree. I feel my liberty is with the ex-players. I think the ex-players hang the AFL sometimes out to dry, and it would be nice if it was AFL players that panned Sam Draper. And trust me, if any of them can look me in the eye and say I didn't have a dickhead moment off camera, they're probably lying. Yeah. And the same with these situations. A lot of these players have gone through what is going on at football clubs, but they still buy into that like kind of media point of, it's black and white. It should be done. And it would be great, I think, sometimes if we could step back and have that kind of, look, it's not linear. In an ideal world, 2 years of rebuilding, 1 year of being 15th, 14th, 13th, then you threaten finals, and then year 5, you're probably the big thing.
Yeah.
But no one seems to want to do that. They just want to say, it should be year 5. Everyone else wins it in year 5.
Yeah. The famous premiership window, when those graphs come out, and the clock, that's the best one.
The clock, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Luke,
Yep.
I asked this question to the Blue Abroad community a few weeks ago about success, right? So Collingwood wins the premiership, you are successful, right? When does that stop? Does that stop? Is success a destination that you reach and you are there for 6 months, 12 months? Like, in your view, would you say Collingwood are successful? I think you would.
I think, yeah. I would say Collingwood are successful, but then what you sort of have to change your mindset as soon as you win that sort of premiership or whatever your benchmark is. You win a final, you win 2 finals, whatever your benchmark is. We'll take Collingwood as an example, as a premiership. The next success, it might, like, obviously you want to go back to back, right? We want to go back to back, but our next success is just be up there and compete. That's successful. If you drop out of the 8, it's failed. That success kind of be like, everyone starts saying, it was just a flash in the pan. They couldn't back it up the next year. You don't have to back it up the next year with a premiership, but you have to back it up with success. And Hawthorn, Geelong do it. Like it was my topic last week. Geelong do it so well. The Patriots do it for 20 years. They were in a million Super Bowls and they won 7 of them. The success is just being up there constantly. So for Collingwood, the success of that grand final probably, lasts until the season starts, and then you just start again. And the kind of same thing I've been thinking about is Richmond. So they've won 3 premierships in the last, whatever it is, 6 years, and they're like teetering down the bottom now. What does success look like to them now? Is it obviously making finals? But with a new coach, is it improving? Is it, what does it sort of look like to a team that's already won so many in the last, not even the last 10 years, in the last 6 years? You obviously can't be winning premierships every single year. So what does success look like to a Richmond supporter with a new coach and new players?
Well, Jake, the Saints, the famous 2010 era Saints, I look at them as successful. I know you didn't win the premiership, but like, do you share that? Or is that like, sorry, that's a fail because you didn't win the flag?
No, I've always been against that. Even people that, when it's even individual level where there's the Jonathan Brown, Nick Riewoldt argument, and people will pick Jonathan Brown, and I'll say, why? And I'll say, well, he won some flags. I'm like, well, we're talking individuality here. We're talking specifically that. But with the team aspect of it, No, that was successful. That was absolutely. We were from 04 to 2010. We pretty much won the most games out of every club. I think from 2010, from the 2000, they had a graph where like a ladder, and it was like from 2002 to 2019, most wins or whatnot. We were 4th or 5th, and it was because of how dominant we were in that period. And if you just go back and watch the way we played and the players that we had, you'd be silly not to say that we were successful, especially with the way that Grant Thomas had initially we had drafted them. And we see now, draftees, there's no guarantee they're going to turn into a great player, let alone become a champion team. But a lot of them did. You know, they were rare. We didn't have as many, no offense, but Paddy McCartans or Jack Billings back in the day then. We had Nicky Dowell, we had Brendan Goddard, Lenny Hayes, Nick Rewald, Justin Kajitsky, Luke Ball was a gun for us. I don't know. That's one of the weirdest things is trading him to Collingwood and not playing him enough in the 09 Granny. But all of these youngsters came through together and they grew together. They had their highs and lows. We had prelim losses and then they got agonizingly close, but they gave themselves a chance. Some teams like this don't even get to the big dance to even try and win the thing. We got there 3 times. We didn't win it, but you just got to get there. You just got to get there, and we did. So I think that is a success, that we got to the grand final, and we were minor premiers, and we played in the biggest games. Just like what Swoop is saying about, you know, you just want to back it up, and we did that 3 times.
Yeah, exactly right.
Or maybe more. 04 prelim, 05 prelim, 06 finals, 7 we missed, 8 prelim, 9 grand final, 10 2 grand finals, 11 elimination final. That's a lot of finals. That's a successful team.
Giving your team the best chance. Oh my god!
You just got to give yourself the best chance.
The best chance, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Oh,
Doesn't matter.
Oh no.
I saw a quote today which I think ties into this exact topic. Be aware of destination addiction. The idea that happiness is in the next place. Until you give up the idea that happiness is somewhere else, it'll never be where you are.
I love that. That's actually really good. That's actually really good. And that's exactly right. That's just stopping and smelling the roses. Like the roses are in front of you. Why you have to celebrate them, you have to cherish them as they are right now, and not and that reminds me of the quote from The Office where he's like, I wish someone told me that the good old days were the good old days when I was in them, or something like that. You know, stopping and smelling the roses. You have to. You don't want to celebrate it in 10 years, and that's a really good quote and a really good sort of life philosophy as well.
This DBKK4, I don't think that's success. Maybe that's why Saints have only won 1 flag, because that's the attitude. That is such a dumb comment. Because what attitude? We got to the big dance. We literally got within a kick. Like
Triggered.
It's not triggered. It's just a dumb comment.
No, Dione's a legend, mate.
But that's only in hindsight. You know what I mean? If you win one of the 3, then what? So if we win one of the 3, then it completely changes things. I think you just got to get there.
She's got
the blue baggers would love to get there soon. Trust me.
We would, mate. We would.
So get there.
We would love to, mate. We're trying. Mate, I'm living my best life. Nick Dacos is kicking game winners with a minute to go on the goal side of stoppage, and no one's on him, mate. I'm loving life.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Of course you strive to win in grand finals, but to win one, you got to get there, don't you?
No, of course. I think the grand final is like it's the ultimate thing that you want, but I don't believe that I could say that St Kilda era was a failed era.
No. Yeah. What failed was what came next.
Yep.
We gave the shot, but we didn't have anything in place to recycle and replenish to get there quickly again. It was too big of a gap. That's what I think. I think that was the fail. Grant Thomas and Ross set us up, and then what happened after that with Scotty Waters and Alan Richardson, that was the fail. Big fat fail.
Look, what can you honestly ask from your club other than to be better than the year before?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Constant improvement. Talk
about linear. I mean,
yeah.
You go from semi-final, elimination final to semi-final to prelim to granny. I don't know. There's a lot of heat in the room, Gavin.
It's great, mate. It's great. We need Carlton
Bring
to
it
lose
on.
more, mate. It's
Can we
great.
get through the? Can we get through the topics quickly and get some of these fan cams on so we can put them under the microscope?
Where was this energy from you last week? You were moping around in the dark.
Nah, stuff it. I'm a change. I'll tell you what, listeners. I'm a changed man. Bring it on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Give me all the Saints jokes that I've heard 50,000 times. Love originality.
I love it.
This is
Luke,
good. This is good.
You are the winner.
Cool.
Would you like to go?
Sweet. So, yeah, my topic is a little bit more. Well, actually, we're all been pretty heavy, sort of philosophical, reaching in sort of topics at the moment. So, like, my one is just about the AFL as a community. So, obviously, we saw the moment of silence or the minute of silence for the domestic violence against women, and before every game we had that, and then during the press conferences the coaches talked a little bit about it as well, and whatever clubs were doing throughout the week. So there was a lot of divided feelings on this. A lot of people saying it's good, it's great. We're the sort of benchmark of what, we're a community. People sort of look to us for this and what we do. But then the other people saying, one, it's not enough. Two, quote unquote, don't bring politics into sport. And, mainly that it's not enough, and, the silence thing and stuff like that. I guess my sort of topic this week is, does the AFL do enough for, not just for domestic violence, just in general for marginalized communities or marginalized efforts? And I've got a couple of examples here as well. And two, do they have to stand on a sort of quote unquote soapbox when this sort of stuff happens? Do they have a responsibility to us as fans? And like, sort of leading on for that, so the Saints and Tigers do the Maddie match. That's one thing that they do for themselves. Collingwood and Richmond, we did the food bank cup for for the homelessness and feeding families and stuff like that. We got the big freeze. Carlton, that I absolutely adore and respect, they do the Carlton Respects. They do that match, and that's for gender equality and everything sort of in between sort of that. And there's probably every single team probably has their own thing that they do as well. But do you think the AFL does enough, and do you think that has a responsibility to sort of maybe do more, or is it enough, or what are your sort of thoughts?
100% no, unequivocally. I think a lot of these things are a lot of them generate everything that's wrong with society, and why I implore more clubs to do it is I think it exposes the negative mindset. Like the political agenda people say, and I wouldn't say domestic abuse is a political agenda. I wouldn't even say homelessness is a political agenda. I think that's a society issue that we should be fixing as a society first and foremost. But I do draw the line when you hear of so many events at these games, like the Carlton Collingwood game. There was issues, I think, at the Richmond game as well, with women being accosted and abused leaving the ground. And I feel like the AFL just, if they were serious, memberships would be taken away. Do you know what I mean? Memberships would be taken away. No ifs, buts, or maybes. If there's proof and evidence and all the video footage, instantly gone to me. Instantly gone. For me, when you start speaking big, you've got to start acting big. It's all well and good taking the minute's silence, and it needed to be done because the 30-odd women to lose their lives is nothing short of barbaric in 2024, to be honest. And we should all be ashamed of it. Not just men, everyone, society, because they're brothers, they're sisters. They had friends, they had family, and the abusers will have had that as well. And someone hasn't stopped that before it's happened. But I always think that sports clubs need to do this. And it's all right, people saying, oh, I go to the sport to relax. But I go home to relax too. So imagine going home to an abuser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop him, and it doesn't stop her if she abuses me, and it doesn't stop anyone else doing the evil. So I think it's really important that sports clubs do it. But I think it then becomes, I don't want to use the word virtual signaling because then we're delving into leftard and things like that. But when you start to do it for show and you don't back it up, that's a worry for me. And we've had all this awareness, and Adam makes a great point. Why is there no openly gay player in AFL? Why is there no openly gay player in the Premier League? Like, since I was a little boy in the Premier League, we've had the Rainbow Laces and the Rainbow Campaign, and I'm 38. So 20 years, and the statistics, and there's rumours are still the same, aren't they? It's marketingly bad for sponsors if they have a gay player, the abuse the other players will receive, and also how will be looked on in the dressing room. They're the big outliers of why it hasn't. So that proves we haven't really progressed, but yet we still do the Rainbow Campaign, but nothing's there. So for me, yes, it's great to bring the awareness, but did us being quiet for a minute stop a woman going home that night and being abused? No, by the police's record, 8 people were abused who were female after the Carlton Collingwood game. So maybe for a minute they didn't get abused. That's all we achieved in the grand scheme of things.
Wow.
That was really, really well said for me.
I felt before the game, because we had the Peter Mac Cup, obviously. There were parts of me before the game, I was like, okay, we did the moment's silence, which I thought was done in really good taste. I almost felt like, I think, did they add that late? Was that like a late addition to the game? Because I felt silence? Because I felt like we were already planning to do Peter Mac Cup and do something with that. And then I almost felt like we overlapped. I understand why, because something needed to be done straight away. And I understand that point of view, but did we, it just felt like one almost took away from the other. We wanted to put a spotlight on cancer, and we wanted to put a spotlight on gender-based violence, both very important issues, and I understand that. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer was. Like, do we wait another week, or do we? I don't know what it was, but it did feel like a dilution, in my view. And then to further to Pommy's point, it's a really fine line between making a statement and just telling people that you're doing something for the good. The reality is there's 88,000 odd people at the MCG. When you can get a message across to 88,000 plus however many 100,000 people were watching, you have to do it. You have a responsibility when you have a platform. You have to do it. Where I get really sick, and especially with the violence against women thing, is where I watch people talk about it and not be about it, and then talk about it for the sake of being the ones that talked about it, when deep down I know exactly what they did in real life when it actually happened. It makes me sick. Makes me fucking sick to my stomach, on that topic in particular, because that's one that I can talk on really closely because it's affected me and my mum, and it really gets to my core. And some other topics don't, because I didn't experience them. But that one in particular, when we're talking about people posturing on social media that they're about, violence against women, but they're really not in their actions. And that's the world we live in, unfortunately. Like, I don't promote to people that I'm bringing girls on to do combined 23s, because I think it's really important to do footy conversations with women so everyone can say, well done, Terry. I do it because I'm about it, not because I want you to know 100%. That I'm about it. I just do it. Yep. I don't promote it in that way. I don't, I think we've skewed the lines of doing it for doing it and telling people that you do something because of a perception thing,
Words are they doing this? Are they doing this every week now, or is it just last week?
I think it was just last week.
I think it was
just a one-off.
Yep.
And to Terry's point, Mick here, this is a fantastic comment. So Darcy Moore, through my Twitter account, because I stupidly talk about Darcy Moore as a positive, and heaven forbid a Carlton man comes in and says Darcy Moore's a good defender. But you go through any comments about Darcy Moore in the last 2 years, and it's always homophobic. It's always, he's one of the gay footballers. Or them horrible pictures when he went to the Brownlow with his beautiful partner, and people were saying it's a sham, it's pretend. And that's on the AFL official accounts. And I agree with Mick. If you're about it, some of them people are real people. You click their link, they've got business pages on their profile. You know they're real humans. And some of them are saying proud Essendon supporter of 20 years, or proud Fremantle supporter. Where's the AFL if they're about it, banning it? Now, I know what you're going to say, but Pommy, what about freedom of speech? Pommy, what about freedom of expression? You can't stop us doing stuff. Why don't we make things hard for the people we don't want in society. I agree they should have an avenue of redemption. I'm not talking about that. But if you are about let's kick homophobia out of football, that's simple. You comment on our post something homophobic, see ya. And you watch the change flittle through
100%.
people. When your mate can't go to the game this weekend because he made a gay joke about Darcy Moore. And I've got a story, a personal story to me, a good mate of mine and great mate of mine, a guy called Lance back in the UK. He's a massive Ranger fan, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this story. But a couple of years ago, he made a comment on a Rangers forum where he called someone a puff. Now, when we grew up, that phrase wasn't as derogatory as it was, and he's the same age as me, right? So that's something that's probably been thrown around the straight guys for a while, and we've never meant any offense by it. But he stupidly made the comment to someone he didn't know. It got reported, and his membership was banned for six months by the Rangers, and he had to attend their Rainbow Laces campaign. Now, 5 years after that event, he is now proud a guardian of that Rainbow Laces campaign. So he takes young LGBTIQ plus men, women to games if they feel scared, and he's a big boy, and he's honoured to be a part of that. And that came through the education. Rangers punished him, understood that maybe his age group doesn't understand what he's done, gave him the pathway to be rehabilitated, and now it's one of his proudest moments to be able to go and spend time with them. He coaches I think it's the under-19s LGBTIQ soccer team. It's the time of his life. It's made his life because he didn't realise what he was saying would offend people. Yeah. And once he did, he realised how bad he was. And that's where the AFL look at it. Fuck banning people. Yeah, you're going to get people upset. But guess what? You'll open a pathway of one, redemption, and two, hardcore learning. And we all make mistakes. All make mistakes. We shouldn't be scared of mistakes. We should be scared of not learning. And I think that's where we've got lost in this. And if you abused anyone after that women's minute silence, you are everything that's wrong with the world. You are the abuser. That's that mindset. You couldn't have a better warning than staying quiet for a minute. We did it on the watch along. We stayed quiet. The chat shut up. We took it serious. You're an idiot if you go out and abuse a woman straight after that. Like, you're beyond redemption. So I do think the AFL, to Mizzy's point, spot on. Fucking do something about it.
And I think as well, and I don't know if you guys see it a lot through your sort of socials, but you know, when I'm sort of running my socials on, you know, like my Instagram or YouTube and stuff like that, I like it to be really authentic to myself when I'm sort of posting. So, you know, I made that Ash Johnson post, and with this domestic violence stuff, it's something that is really close to me. I've had friends really go through it, and you know, we as this sort of not new age, but as our generation, we want to foster a community that respects each other and respects sort of everything. So I posted up a video of Craig McRae talking about it just during his presser, was uninvited. He just talked about it. And, you know, when people are saying, you know, thanks for putting that up, kind of like exactly what you're saying. I'm not putting it up for the thanks. I'm putting it up for the community to learn something. But when you start that conversation that, okay, people, my coach, the guy that I look up to, that I idolize, who coached us to a premiership, he's bringing a good positive light to such a bad time in XYZ's life. I feel like I can talk about it with my friend. I feel like I can talk about it. And the same thing with the homophobia sort of stuff. And I see it all the time because I run a Collingwood page. So I see it all the time with Darcy Moore and XYZ, whoever it may be. And I've got a lot of gay friends, and, you know, I wouldn't feel right. I'm a very big ally for them when we're sort of around each other, but I wouldn't feel right if I'm not calling this stuff out online, being an ally to their face and not being an ally behind their back. And that's what it is. That's the action that speaks louder than I can't say Rashad, Ben, if someone comes up to you in a club and wants to fight you because you're gay, bring him to me. I'll take him on. But then when someone says, "Oh, XYZ from Collingwood, they kiss it," and I'm not going to say, "Oh, that's cool. I'll just leave that post up," or I won't call it out. That's the action that is generated from the words, and that's what I hope that the AFL community has done with this this minute or moment of silence for domestic violence. The murder of all these women at the hands of men.
That's why I was asking if they were backing it up, if it was just a 1 week thing, or they were going to do it for an extended period.
Yeah, I haven't heard that they were. Sorry, excuse me.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I haven't heard they were.
I don't know. I don't know when our Carlton Respects game is. We have it once a year. We've done it 7 times. I mean, there's so much happening in the world.
Yeah.
There's so many different layers to this. So it's a bit of a. I mean, it just brings attention and awareness.
Yep.
And that's better than nothing, I guess.
Exactly right.
You just need awareness to translate into action.
Well, that's right. The words mean nothing.
We are all aware, but there needs to be change. There needs to be some sort of movement from it too, right? A reaction.
Yep.
I think Swoop nailed it as well. Like, if only more people thought like you, Swoop, fucking do something about it. Like, do you know what I mean? Do something about it. And I feel like we get, like, Gav makes a great point. People shouldn't be afraid of who they are. We all make mistakes. And I'm not saying, I think the most unproductive thing we can do is call it out, put a post up and say this person said this. I think that's counterproductive because, one, some people actually get turned on by that fucking exposure and they can tell their mates. But two, I think it promotes the act of chastisation, where I want to see a world where you get to someone before it becomes that public point.
Yeah.
That big point. And, I had the post. Me and Terry were like 4 weeks before this happened. We talked about domestic abuse. My DMs were Pom buys into a socialist agenda. Pom believes feminism is her thing. Like, I've had some really, truly horrific things. And I'm like, Jesus, all I said was treat people with kindness and love. Isn't that normal? But I haven't chastised them. I've tried to educate them with my way of thinking of, I'm not attacking you and I'm not saying you're a bad person. Someone took my words of, I think raising your voice as a woman is abuse because that's how I was raised. I don't think everyone who does it is abusive. That's my personal belief. But I do call my mates out if I hear them get angry. So if I'm at the bar and one of them's going, she's fucking doing my head in, Dan, I will tell him, mate, calm down, man. Calm down. Like, tell me and abuse me. But I want you to calm down before you go home. And if he's not, that's when I'll call it out and I'll go, mate, come on. You're better than this. And that's what we need to do as a society. If you've got a homophobic
100%.
mate and your mate says, oh, bloody PUFF, say him, look, mate, come on, I've got some homosexual mates and that offends them. And you're better than that. I don't want, and word it like a man. I don't want people to think ill of you. Because I know that's not what you mean. You've used it as a throwaway comment. And that is how you create change. And I think that's brilliant from you, Swoop. We have got lost between educating as adults and then show ponying going, this person here called Darcy Moore Gay. Oh, look at me. I'm a hero. As opposed to maybe getting in his DMs and going, mate, look, I've seen your comments on my YouTube videos a lot. You're 100%. A very intelligent man. Why? Like, people will read that and think you're horrible. I know you're not. Be better, please. And you'll be shocked. I've DM'd people who have said stuff, and people have DM'd me when I've said stuff close to the bone. I'm an emotive guy, and I make mistakes. I appreciate it when someone gives me the respect to go, I know you're not a bad person. This is what it looks like, though. And then a good person will take that information and go, I'll be better tomorrow. I'm going to be better. Thank you for doing it. Because I feel like we're in a world where it's talk too much, criticize those who fail, as opposed to maybe we wouldn't have politics in sport if you punched your mate who punched a woman, or you told your mate he's going too far, or maybe we wouldn't have it because it's not that hard. And racism, spot on as maybe if you pulled your mate into line once in a while, just maybe if we did it ourselves instead of being quiet. And look at that psycho who murdered them people at the mall, and his dad. He's always had trouble with women. He's always got angry about it. I saw a very sad dad, but I also saw a man who, why didn't someone stop this before it got to the stage?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
everyone turned a
100%.
blind eye, didn't they?
Yeah.
He's just a bit
Say
weird.
something.
And that's it. Action beats. And remember these words from Uncle Pom. Cowards use the weapons of word. Heroes use action. No superhero in comics is word man. They all have an action that makes them a superhero. Remember next
That's a
time.
really good point.
Next
That's a really
time
good
you
point.
tweet, I stand with these people. Remember, you're probably a coward if you can't prove you do what you say.
Good one, Pommy. That was really well worded.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Again.
Be about it. Be
Be about
Be
it.
about it. Be
Be
about it.
about it. Don't say you're about it. Be about it.
Don't think.
Be about it.
Do.
Be the change you want to see in the world, right?
Man. Imagine Wordman. Wordman! Solving the world with a tweet. Can you imagine it? Oh no, Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor's bald. Oh, I've sent the tweet.
Oh man, that's pretty funny. That's good. That's good.
God.
Wow.
Whew. Jeez.
Thank you, Mrs. Pom.
Thank you, Mrs.
Say
Pom.
hi, Mrs. Pom.
Thank you, Mrs. Palm.
Hello, Mrs. Pom.
Oh, and before anyone comments, like last time she brought me a cup of tea when we had a domestic abuse van, she does this because she loves me, not because I beat her or anything.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Anything else on that? Was that anything else we can add?
No, yeah, I guess just be the change you want to be in there. And it's all like what Pom said, it's all about I've made mistakes in the past. I've made so many mistakes. It's all about learning it and not repeating those behaviors, not repeating those mistakes. That's all you can do. Well, that's for me anyway. That's all I can do.
I have a question for all of you as my topic. You get to meet yourself. It's a bit of an exercise. I'm going to ask you to answer 2 questions. Maybe we'll start with the first one. You are having a conversation with yourself on the first time you ever started doing content. What do you say?
Whoa. As in, what would I ask myself?
No, what would you tell yourself if you were talking to them on their first day of getting into the game?
Jeez.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Then we're going to go deeper. The next layer.
Well, I don't know.
I'd probably say just to back yourself in a lot more than you were. You know, when I look back at my sort of first videos, and it's fair enough. Like you're just talking to no one, talking to a camera. You know, pretty shy and sort of stuff, and sort of scared of what people would say. And I would just say to back yourself in and be confident and really, I think the biggest piece of advice I would give my younger self from 5 years ago would be, just to not let the little things hurt too much, like not let them sting, because there was a long period of time where they wouldn't, and I'd get really, really caught up in my mental well-being, and it really take effect on me. And now I'm a lot better for it. But yeah, that's what I would say. I would say, look after your mental health, look after your mental well-being. Don't get too caught up, and be confident in yourself. You got this. And Buzz got to win a premiership, so put money on it in 2023.
Yeah, not 2018. I reckon I would say ignore the numbers. Ignore the numbers and just enjoy it. Because I went through, probably in lockdown especially, when we couldn't go out, we couldn't go to games. I was obsessed. Like, obsessed. If a post didn't get 100 likes in 10 minutes, I deleted it.
Really?
I deleted it.
Oh, wow.
I needed to get 10 likes or more per minute for it to be good enough for me. That's how obsessed I was. And I would have, like, my engagement on Facebook is pretty high. It's really, really strong. This was then in lockdown where, like, and then they paused football. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting less likes and this and that. And I always thought it was me. I always thought I was failing because I didn't get the engagement that I thought the post would get. Whereas now, it's just like, I know it's good quality and the people that value it will see it and they will enjoy it. It doesn't need to be for everyone, right? Whereas before, my content was like, I just want everyone to love it. I want it to get so many likes, so many views. And if it didn't, my whole day was ruined. I would be depressed. I would think, what the hell am I spending my time on? Why am I doing this? Am I going to look back when I'm 50 and think, geez, these were years that I could have been traveling or doing something a bit easier, you know? And yeah, I don't know what the shift was, but I would definitely tell myself, you know, it's ignore the numbers, ignore the amount of likes you get and follows you get. And honestly, too, when we've been in the game this long, we talk to people that have started channels before, like started channels recently, and they come to you and they ask you how to quickly go viral, how to quickly get to 10,000 likes and subs. And it's like, mate, I put in 4 or 5 years of hard work every single day to grind it out and to get to that level. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, there's patience. You got to be patient. I wasn't patient at the start. I wanted everything now. And now I realize that, you know, just do the right things, just work with the right people and do the right content and you know, things will happen.
I like this one. Don't buy AFL 23.
Oh my God. Jesus, yeah. Actually, sorry. I would say don't go to Good Friday Saints North 2018. That's what I would have told myself. Terrible game.
Pommy.
Oh dear, probably don't do it.
Oh well.
No, I'm only joking, messing about. Probably. I was an old man though when I came to it, so what I would probably say: be hated for who you are, not what you think you need to be. I think that took me a while to really embrace being me and not being worried about not being liked for me, because your own people will come. You'll find your own people. And if I had me 5 years ago, that would have probably helped if it was coming from me. Don't worry. 5 years' time, you'll find your people. It'll be right. Just don't worry about it. Just keep being you.
True. I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
So the next layer of this question is...
Hey, what would you tell yourself, though?
I would tell myself, thank you.
Ooh,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I would.
He's lying. He would say,
I would say
it would have been the back. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was like a big unknown, but like, I don't know if I'd have the guts today to start.
Yeah.
But back then it was like,
scary.
Yeah. I was like,
don't do the swimming pool video. Would that be top 3?
Don't do the swimming pool video. Obviously. And I think one practical one would be don't try. Well, I mean, it was me finding my voice, but at the start I was just influenced by everything else. So it was like, are you trying to be funny, entertaining?
Yeah.
So it was like, don't try and entertain, be you, be professional, and have that responsibility. Like, you have a responsibility, you represent. I mean, I don't work for the club, but I do represent the club in an indirect way. So like, I owe it a level of respect. You know, without the club, there is no channel. So there needs to be a level of respect, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting, before we get into the next question, which I'm very excited for. I don't know for you guys, but like, at what point does it just switch on where you just realize I'm just going to be myself now? Or is it just a gradual thing that you don't even realize you're doing? And it's just your experience grows. The more you do it, the more you open up, and you don't necessarily know it until you watch a video 5 years ago. And then you're like, oh, wow, this is completely different. And I didn't even intentionally mean to do it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a specific point where I became comfortable, but there was definitely the first few years of figuring out by making mistakes, by doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing, going a little too hard, being a little too emotional, watching it back and realizing, listen, mate, just relax. And then I think eventually as you grow, we are YouTube, we are media companies, all of us, all four of us. We have on a smaller scale, but we are. And so, there's power there. So, Jake, if you are angry every single week and toxic and screaming, you're probably going to get more views, but you're also going to influence your community to act
how you're
without restraint. Same with you, Luke. Same with me.
Yeah.
So you have to take accountability.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely, for me personally, it's definitely a gradual thing, trying to, and feeling confident enough in what I've grown, like with the channel and the pages and stuff, to start sprinkling in my own personality. So it's not just Jordan to go, he's out for 4 weeks. K Corn said this. No, hang on a second. Let me just put up a random post and let you know what I think. But also, so that's the gradual sort of growth. But also, I can pinpoint the exact day where I thought, fuck, I am not going to be that guy anymore. And to really sort of calm it down, it was that live stream. 100% was that live stream with Pom when I had one too many drinks, and I was a bit of a fucking nonce on camera, because they won't be watching, but because mum and dad called me that night maybe, and dad just absolutely fucking ripped into me. And he really let me have it. I thought I was having a little bit of fun because it was COVID, right, Pom? It was, because I wouldn't have done a live stream if it wasn't. Yeah. And I thought I was having a bit of fun. I got a little bit too carried away. And yeah, dad really ripped into me that night. And I thought, yeah, nah. And then I watched it back reluctantly, watched bits and pieces because I couldn't watch the whole thing. And I thought, nah, that's not where I want this channel to go. That's not who I want to be. That's not who I want to show people that I am, because that's not who I am or who I was. So that was a tipping point. So thank you, Pom, for having me on that day, because it was a fucking absolute tipping point for me. And I don't think I've ever told you that, Pommy, but that's a part of my life, or part of Swoop's life, where it really was the tip of the iceberg and set me on. I would have fucked up from then to now as well, little bits and pieces, but that was a tipping point to be a better person and to be a better Swoop as well.
It's really funny you say that, because people who watch that live stream don't like you from it. Where that's their first impression of you, and when I talk about you on my show, I'm like, Swoop is one of the most kind-hearted, most beautiful individuals. When I went through things in my family, Swoop was one of the few YouTubers who was there for me. I was like, where a lot of them just fucking went about on their own stupid shit. I was like, Swoop was there. He was my boy, so I defend you. But I look back at it, mate, and that's how my mates are with me. They pick on me when we're in competition. But I appreciate that, man. I thought it was funny, because I don't think anyone's been as mean to me on camera for a whole half as you were. Honestly, thank Christ,
I've not seen this.
Oh,
I'm not going to watch it again. I'm not going to watch it again. So.
I will. Don't worry.
Jake, on the first half, I'm on the ropes. He's hitting me with that many lefts. I'm begging for a right. I honestly, and thank Christ, Carlton came back. Best scene though on Blue Abroad history, you playing the Collingwood song with the guitar. Absolute scene at half time.
Which one? Oh man, see, I don't even remember. You
were singing the Carlton as shit Collingwood song or something at half time, because you were 40 ahead. And I just had to sit there in silence and take it. And I remember warning you, if Carlton somehow bring this back, you're in a world of hurt.
Oh no.
Fuck. Pretty funny. But yeah, that was the the tipping point that I can pinpoint. Yeah.
So the second part to the question is, you are now speaking to yourself in 10 or at the end when you retire. What do you think that version of you will say to you? It's deep.
At the end of, if I retire from Saints TV?
Yep. Or the end of when you stop doing content.
Okay. Oh, this is actually pretty easy. I would say to myself, I can't believe you did that. I didn't think you could do that. That's what I would say to myself. Because anyone that knows me knows how, at least maybe not now, but when I started the whole thing, everyone found it very funny because they were like, you're the most introverted person I've ever met. You don't go out. I don't like big groups. I would try and escape from parties if I could, do the whole bathroom thing where I pretend I'm passed out until the night's over sort of thing. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I couldn't talk to anyone.
Wow.
And then people found it amazing but on camera, you're great. Like, it was like a completely different person. But even now to the point where, I have to put myself out there more, do more serious things, chat to players. No way I never thought I could do that. No way. So I could only imagine what the evolution will be by the time I'm retired, but that's what I would tell myself.
Okay.
Like that I didn't think I could do it. Like, but it's a compliment.
Yeah,
Because you did do
yourself.
it.
Yeah, you proved yourself.
I stagger myself, yeah. And I think that's what everyone should be doing. You should surprise yourself every day.
Well, I like that.
And that's what I would say. It's making me tear up.
You can cry, mate. I like that.
After the weekend's game.
We're going to lose this week.
Nah, we'll smash the Hawks. 75 points. Heard it here first.
Oh my
All right, I'm done.
I'm clipping that, that's for sure.
I need top up wine. Wine, anyone? Come on.
Yeah, I probably would say the exact thing. Like, you did it. Like, whenever that, and I've actually recently I have thought about, people ask me like, oh, when do you think you'll do this for forever and stuff? And I said I'll do it until, people stop, or no, not people. I stop enjoying it. Like, I love it at the moment. Like, I love every single day doing it, and it's tedious. We know that. We know how tedious it is, and posting and this and graphics and this and recording. But when I look back at it, so let's just say it's whatever it is. Let's just say 10 years as a number, and I'm talking to my future self. Or sorry, they're coming back and talking to me right now. If Luke just walked through this house, if future Luke just walked through this house, and he'd just say, "Stick at it, man! Like, you're doing, you did it. In 10 years, you'll know. I'm not going to tell you what happens in 10 years, but you've done it. Whatever goal you set out, you've done it. And keep doing it. Just keep putting in the yards and keep being you. That's something that I know I would tell myself, to fucking keep being you, no matter what they say, no matter what people, all the negative or whatever it may be. Keep being true to yourself, Luke. As long as you're true to yourself, people will value that, and you'll value that within yourself if you stick back to who you are.
Very good. I like it. Very, very nice.
Easy,
Tommy?
convoys. It's easy, Terry. You know me well. It would be simple. 2 beers, one in each hand. I'd hand me it and go, "Where's that polar bear pommy cunt now, eh? Where is he calling you a pommy cunt now, boy? Where is he?"
So for context.
That'd be it. That would simply be it.
Yeah. So at the start, when Pommy came on, we were doing, I think, draft content or something, and there was a guy that used to write comments, and he had like a polar bear, puffy polar bear.
It always used to pop me. It always used to be that xenophobic, "What's a pom no?" Always.
Yeah.
Has he been back since?
Actually, he's changed his profile picture, and he is a big supporter of the channel. But it did inspire me, because that was literally all I ever had. Was what's Pom know about football? What's Pom know? And literally, it did used to get to me. It used to get to me massively, and then it didn't. Do you know what I mean? Then it just stopped. It stopped, and yeah. So 10 years from now, Pom would know, telling me, "We did it. We did it." where go back and read that comment and look what you did. Look what you did. And that would be the ultimate thanks. I'd be like, yeah, okay. What a dickhead.
I love it.
What about you, Tez?
I think it'd just be, I mean, it would be around keep going. It would be around, I think it would be around know when to leave.
Know when to walk away, sort of thing.
Yeah. Know when to leave, know when to walk away, I think.
He's gonna do like the real dramatic exit, isn't he?
No, when you win the flag, would you do it?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think it's something a lot around that, but also, I mean, if there's a dynasty type situation, then you want to be around for it. I do believe it lives beyond me and all of us. I believe that personally. I believe it. I believe that's where the magic is.
Can we do like an emotional goodbye?
I'm getting lowered in the ground with my car, honestly.
Can we do like an emotional goodbye?
Reviews ever. That's game over. It ends with me, mate.
You know what? They can put if they don't win a flag, they can absolutely all show up at my funeral and let me down one last time. If they don't win.
Surely if Terry retires, we've got to do like the announcement, like one of them, like, do you remember the old school YouTube I'm quitting, where it's like, background. We need to talk title.
That's probably a third question, or not a third question, but sort of same thing what you were saying, Terry. Do you think you would pass the baton on to someone? Do you think there would be another broad host or Saints TV or Pommy or another, I don't know if there could be another Swoop Luke or could be Swoop someone. Do you think it's a baton? Do you think it's just blackness?
Yeah, I do. I think it goes part. Yeah, I mean, this is what are my intentions. Yeah, I don't think I'll be 70 years old still behind a camera.
I hope so.
Screaming about Oscar Judd's grandson, or
back in my day.
Yeah. But if it ends, then it ends with the flag or whatever happens with the success, and then it just sits there in the ether forever. And if that's the end, if that's what it looks like. Great, but if there's an opportunity for young, up-and-coming sports media hustlers that want to get into the game and work hard and want to host, then I think that'd be nice to pass that on. Whatever happens. But in my mind, I think that's always the way I've kind of used it. It's a platform for people to come and get some experience. People come and go, and I understand that. That's humans. They'll be with you until you no longer have as much value to give, and then they will continue to grow, and that's fine.
It's not true. It's not true, mate. I'm your Crips to Walsh, mate. I'm here all the
time. He's waiting for the call.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm his wingman. David will be me. There'll be Pommy Jr.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Louder, more obnoxious.
Yeah, I don't really have an offspring to pass it down to. Hey, I don't really have a kid.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I've got to start. Maybe have a kid. 10 years they can take over. We'll see how that time. We'll see how that timeline works out.
Train them from day one.
Media training.
Go you, mate. Yeah, you're teaching them the outro.
How good that would be 20 years time, though. We all have kids doing this show. Like they can look back and go 25 years today. My dad, Jake's dad, Jake's son, Swoop's son, Terry's son, they all do a 25-year commemoration. Like, imagine, I'd have a tear in my eye as David dropped some kind of very sexually laced analogy in. And I'd be like, that's my boy. There he is. What a boy.
God, imagine watching my son in the car ranting for 25 minutes. After a 100-point loss, I'd be so proud.
One day they'll be watching this exact moment.
That is scary. My kids.
Does that not ever occur?
Let's all wave to our future kids.
What's that?
No, but 9 because my kids are 9 and 8. Like every so often, David goes and watches an old thing, and he hears me talking about him when he was younger. and like his eyes light up because it's like a validation that dad loves you. I think like we all have had parents. Sometimes you don't know, do you? You don't know what they think of you. Do you know what I mean? Like until it's too late, invariably. I think that's magical. Do you know what I mean? Like my son's so invested in my YouTube. Like he's always watching it and gets excited about, oh, Dad, I watched something you did with Terry ages ago. You were really shit. Like, do you know what I mean? And he's like, I look at you, like he was talking about my thumbnails the other day, and he was like, your thumbnails look like my brother's made it on clip art and stuff like that. And then he looks down and he goes, they're really good, Dad. Like, it's really cool, man. Like, because kids are the most honest. Like, David does a lot of my editing. I will show him something and go, what do you think? And he'll invariably go, it looks like an old man's made it. And I'm like, okay, that's bad. How do I make it look like a young man's made it? And he's got that eye. So, no, it'd be cool. I can't wait to see father-son fan content. Can you imagine that? 25 years, everyone's got a junior. That'd be gross. I'll be too old to care. Like, I'll call people cunts.
That just really, I don't know why. That just really hit me. I don't know why.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my son thinks Swoop's cooler than me anyway. He's got tattoos, even though I have tattoos. Swoop's got proper tattoos.
Wow, that was deep. That went deep. Sorry.
That did. That did.
I actually got that from I did a breathwork class months ago, and that was the exercise.
Right.
But it was more around yourself, not just your content self. But it was like, after 45 minutes of doing breath work, you did that exercise while you were lying down, dark room, eyes closed, and So anyway, it's taken us an hour and 40 minutes to get through 4 topics.
I know. Bloody hell.
You know what? I spent 3 hours abusing Swoop and didn't get him to cry, and I just share him a story about kids. Look, gave him my best work.
Yeah. Oh, goddamn. No, that was good. I think I needed that more than I realized. So that's good.
It's good to get it out, mate.
Yeah, it always is.
Is there a tip of the week that we all want to put in, or
Tip of the week.
we thought about a bit of a wager? Thought about a little bit of a punishment? Have we thought about?
Oh, Carlton Melbourne. Jeez, that's juicy.
Oh, here we go.
You know what?
Why does everyone like it when Carlton lose?
I don't like it, mate. I don't like it. Don't put words in my mouth.
Fuck off.
I tipped him last week, mate. I tipped him. What are you talking about?
You tipped him hoping they would lose, so you had extra incentive to enjoy the loss.
No chance. I wanted the tip. I wanted the tip desperately. It's not a win-win. No one wins when Collingwood or Carlton play each other, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone loses because someone's going to win and their fan base is going to be up and about.
I'm not buying it.
Swoop fucking won.
Yeah.
I saw the video. He was fucking loving it.
Ooh, Freo Sydney up to stadium.
I think
that's going to be
the Gold Coast North game is very interesting, especially with what Gold Coast put up against Brisbane.
Nah, Gold Coast will hammer them. I reckon.
I was at the North.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, Richmond Bulldogs. If Richmond beat the Dogs, is that it?
If
For Bevo?
Richmond
Has
beat
to
the
be.
Dogs,
For Bevo, is that it? Is that the final straw? If you lose to Hawthorn and Richmond consecutively and you're trying to make top 8, is he done?
Nah, AFL wouldn't dare sack someone before a bye or anything like that.
Saturday night, MCG, Richmond Bulldogs. That is going to be one to watch.
Tom's hot tip. Essendon beat up GWS. And everyone realizes GWS are just a flashy new car with the horsepower of a Renault Espace. Take that to the bank. We can stop hearing about that orange tsunami.
Wow.
Okay, I'll give you my tip and a bet for myself. So if Collingwood, I know what I said earlier about Collingwood. But if Collingwood don't beat the Eagles by over 40 points, I'll I'll come on Footy Abroad next week and wear a Carlton jersey.
Jeez, that's a big one.
What are you doing?
He wants
Someone
pain.
has- we gotta do a wager. We can't just have empty bets. So that's what. If we don't beat them by over 40 points, I'll come on at Footy Abroad and do it in a Carlton jersey.
Jesus,
For the whole show?
For the first
For the first minute.
for the first half hour. For the first half hour.
For the intro.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What if Pies lose? Yeah. What if Pies lose? Can you have it on for the whole show?
For, whole show. If Pies lose, whole show.
Wow. I mean, it is.
That's elite. Well. Oh my
Spicy.
god.
That's
Okay.
bold. That's
Wow,
bold.
that is
Well, I'll rate it. Well done.
yeah.
I mean, if
This is fun.
Imagine like if Saints lose to Hawks on the show next week, I can only speak when spoken to. I just sit here and I'm just waiting. You know what? That would actually be okay with me. You know, being the little
feel
introvert
like you
that
would
I am.
do that anyway if that happened, because you'd be a little bit.
True. It's actually better for me if I speak less if we lose to the Hawks. You saw what I was trying to do there. Damn you.
You know what? You can host and moderate if the Saints lose.
Wow. Is it that hard, really, to host and moderate? Can you swap me up to the top? Can you swap me up to the top left right now? I just need to see how it feels.
There you go.
Ooh. Hey guys, welcome to Footy Abroad. Pommy mate, how you going? Swoop, nice Carlton jersey. How were they? Nah, putting me back. It's weird looking left. I need to change I need to like look the other way. I need to look
Yeah,
towards
like
you guys.
Yeah.
You want to go back? You don't
It
like
throws
change?
me off.
You don't
Now
like-
we kind of. Now we're like.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
It
I think
looks
that's
like a
good one.
really shit version of the Brady Bunch.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, I feel you.
What?
I'll-
Okay. I mean, look, the Hawks. Would you be surprised if the Hawks beat the Saints in Tassie? You wouldn't be surprised, would you? None of you would be.
No,
Yeah.
Not. Oh, I'd be really disappointed, but I wouldn't
You'd be
be.
disappointed, but you wouldn't be
Right.
shocked.
Fucking hell, that
Yeah.
cuts.
It's worse than shocked. It's disappointed.
Jake in his Oscars speech. Yeah, I'll write a little monologue if we lose to the Hawks.
All right.
not
You know
bad,
what?
actually.
An apology.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there's punishments to be had if our teams lose this week. That's
Yeah,
obviously
there
what
will
we're-
be. Yeah. Put in the
Okay.
comments, though. Put in the comments as well. I'm interested. If Saints
Yeah.
lose, what should I do, guys?
Yeah. Same with the Blues. If we lose, what do I do?
It's so nice being a guest, and you guys are just in trouble.
Pom, give me something to do if we lose.
Well, why do you follow suit? Why do you wear the Collingwood shirt?
If we lose to Melbourne,
Yeah,
where am I going to get a Collingwood jersey from?
Swoop will sort you out. I'm sure. Look, trust me.
Naked
Me-
fan
me-
I don't know if
From this back.
you fit into my jerseys, mate.
No, so me and Swoop have done this bet 3 times. Trust me, Terry. The Collingwood fans with a jersey your size find you. Honestly,
true.
the first bet, I had like options of 85. Like, do you know what I mean?
Is that Scoops? He said if Saints lose, get him on as the guest.
Scoops, why don't you come on next week anyway, mate? How about that?
If Saints lose, Jake has to sing the Hawks song as intro.
That's a
I'll
great.
start
There's
an
some good.
OnlyFans.
There's some good ones. Naked fan cams.
I'll start an OnlyFans if we lose this week.
Fuck. All right.
well, I mean,
I have to come through. I'm hoping for a big Melbourne win then, just to see that OnlyFans, just to be your first.
I will do the Collingwood thing like when we play West Coast. Because I mean, Melbourne.
Melbourne, it's a different kettle of fish, right?
Yeah, that's
It is
true.
a-
Yeah, that is true.
So your punishment shouldn't be as extreme as if you lost to West Coast, right?
Okay, because
the
it
odds are
annoys
different.
Terry, and I know him so well. He's got to do the whole show with the background light red.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a
It
good
was
one.
pissing him off before.
Yeah,
And because
was
of
pissing him
Melbourne
off
as well
before.
is red. Yeah,
the
that's a
best
good one.
punishments for Terry are the psychological ones. That'll annoy him the entire fucking show. He won't be able to relax.
Or Terry has to come up with 10 compliments for the Collingwood Football Club and read them out.
I could do 10 easy.
You could do
8
10?
of them are about Nathan Buckley.
Wait, he's a fucking lawyer. He's trained to lie.
Oh,
Like,
that red is good. It's a bit of
That's annoying
Saints.
him already.
It's a bit of Saints
like
footy
you're in
about
hell.
it. I like it.
You can see it in his right eye when he's annoyed.
He changes, doesn't he? He
Yeah.
changes.
I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
Terry-
I think that's done.
You can't get Terry to say 10 nice things. He's a lawyer. His training is to lie.
Or
So he
if
can
Carlton
stand there and
lose-
say 10 nice things.
If Carlton lose, he can't get his normal little scrambled eggs on toast for brekkie for a week. That'll kill you.
That's such a
That'll
neat
kill you.
argument.
Because that's all I ever see him eat. That's all I ever see him eat. So I'm like, if he no scrambled
Alright.
eggs for a week, how would you go?
I'll go poached eggs on toast in the morning. No butter, dry, just poached
Oh,
eggs.
Yes.
oh,
Yeah. The
Has-
worst brekkie.
Got to send it to the group chat as well every morning.
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah. We need
I think you
proof.
I think you should have got a pizza, a margarita.
Or you do it. You do it for a dinner and you eat it on the show at the start. Now that's going next level. Or is that too much?
I don't know how to poach it. That's kind of like- That's the truth.
The challenge alone is just Terry poaching eggs.
All right, I'll think about that.
We'll figure it out. We'll post them up.
Think about that. What was,
Egg Florentine Terry. Yeah.
what was yours if you lose to the horse?
Wear a word man costume. That needs to be a superhero.
What was mine?
Your-
Either
weren't you gonna
hosting
do the,
or monologue. or
hosting
something.
with a monologue, I think.
Yeah. Hosting with a monologue.
Should have
double
double
whammy.
Hawks, right?
Tassie though, I don't know. Tassie just it's one of those neutral grounds. They play it well too. Their record there is actually really good. So
We did it. Did it.
we're not gonna lose.
I'm just enjoying the fact that Terry's punishment is literally he's not allowed his favourite breakfast.
And I've got to change the color in the studio. Like,
And he's gonna change the colour. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Red in the back. We lose to Melbourne. Red and blue. Like,
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
it. That makes sense. Red
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah.
show. Ugh.
Chat's telling us there is a superhero called Word Girl.
Really?
Oh really?
What does she do? What does she do? Kill her bad guys by correcting grammar?
Word girl, let's have a look. Superhero.
Oh, yeah. It looked like an ABC show or something.
What's
Oh,
her,
okay.
Is this the real? Is this
Word
the
girl.
real? We had like a fake Cooper Gretsch last week. Is this the real?
Yeah,
Cooper
I don't
Gretsch?
know. I don't know if that's actually him.
No, but
We'll
I
have
think you
to,
banned him, didn't you?
Okay. Because there was like a fake one last week. I've never worked with him before. I wouldn't mind having him on.
He's actually all right to work with. He did a video with me. He's good value, his old Mr. Gretsch.
Jeez, Word Girl's got a lot of superpowers. Immense
power of comma?
strength, but not all of them are word related. Immense strength, super hearing, cold breath,
Oh, yes.
super speed, sonic scream, vast intellect. That's
Oh, come on, chat. I expect better here. I was expecting she actually went on Twitter and downed everyone with her power of
she retweeted the shit out of her enemy.
Anything
Damn,
else
this,
you want to bring up from life outside of footy? Any other themes or issues you want to raise?
Not issues, but are we Team Drake or Team Kendrick in this this beef at the moment?
Great.
I don't know. I don't even know what this beef is, so I'll sit this one out. I got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea the two people you've mentioned. You could have just made them up.
Yeah,
What?
like Drake and Josh. What are you talking about?
Drake the singer Drake.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but
who was
Tommy
the
and
other one?
Kendrick.
Wait, you
Who
winding
the
me up.
fuck is Kendrick?
Is this
Kendrick
like a wind
Lamar.
up?
You know, humble. Sit down. Be humble.
Isn't that on
Yeah. And that sounds exactly like the song.
I know
That's-
that song,
that
but
was
I
him.
think I know that.
Yeah.
I think I know that song because I played UFC or I played 2K.
It sounds like it would be on a UFC thing. Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't know him if he was behind me at Coles.
This is gone off the rail.
But he can't be famous with a name like Kendrick. You can't be famous if you can only have one word if you're Prince, can't you? Like you got to be pretty good.
No, Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar. That's
Okay, so
K-Dog.
he's gone with generic names in America. Okay.
Anyway, Team Kendrick.
What did he do?
They've released like diss tracks at each other.
Oh, so very 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very. Even if you're not into it, you need to listen to it because they're very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that after this.
If I want to hear two children argue whose willy's bigger, I just go into my son's room when they're arguing.
True. Or just go on Twitter.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Right,
Just go on Carlton Twitter.
they're both talentless, so it doesn't matter.
I think Kendrick is winning the battle, but Drake is winning the war.
Ooh, interesting.
Like Drake's
Interesting.
I think Kendrick's a better lyricist.
Yeah. Drake is,
But-
quote unquote, bigger with all his sort of
The numbers
top
and
snare,
like,
numbers and all that sort of stuff. But this Kendrick, man, I've been pumping that. This is not going to mean anything to anyone else, but that Euphoria track, I've been pumping it since it dropped. It is crazy. But yeah,
I'll just say, Teresa's my favourite human ever because she's gone in chat and used Willie. I love that. I rate that. I'm a simple man, and I appreciate how you kept it PG. Well done.
Yeah.
interesting. Anything else, lads?
All right.
Before we wrap up, well, it's 2 hours. This is insane.
What, Jake? Mum is even Team Kendrick. My sister's in the chat. Give her a plug.
Hello.
How does I don't even know how she knows that. That's amazing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good chat, guys. That was a good
Good
one.
chat.
Yeah, that was epic.
Good show. Thanks for being
Yeah.
here, everybody. Lads, great topics tonight. Really good. We're getting really good at
deep.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep, meaningful, and may your teams win because we're not playing against each other. Oh, one more thing. All top 8 teams play each other this week and all bottom 10 teams play each other this week.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
First time in how
Hey.
long? Can't remember.
Forever.
It's
I don't
been a
know.
while. First time, yeah.
I don't know.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. This
Yeah,
is the round
gotta
where
be
the
a good
ladder
week.
will start taking shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See who the pretenders are.
All right. Good night, everyone. Go Blues.
Good night, guys. Thanks for joining
Go
us.
Saints.
Up
See
the
you next
Navies.
week.